Hello and welcome to Crime Watch Daily Updates. I'm your host, Anna Garcia. 18-year-old Zoe Campos lived in Lubbock, Texas, and had a lot going for her. But all of that was taken away when she went missing November 17th of 2013. Zoe was last seen with a man named Carlos Rodriguez, and her whereabouts remained unknown for 5 years until Carlos came forward with a startling admission. In November of 2018, Carlos revealed that he killed Zoe and buried her body in his backyard. In a confession letter sent to media outlets in 2019, Carlos said that he and Zoe smoked synthetic marijuana, and it made him believe that Zoe had become a demon. He said he strangled her to death and then buried her in the backyard. In August of 2022, Carlos pleaded guilty to murder and he was sentenced to life in prison. He will be eligible for parole after 30 years. Let's look back at Zoe Campos' story and her family's search for answers years after her disappearance.
Lubbock, Texas. A teen vanishes without a trace. No clues, no suspects. Her disappearance shrouded in mystery.
LPD is widening the search for that missing teenager.
Her name is Zoe Campos, a beautiful, vibrant, and happy young woman with a love for animals.
She's very funny, the biggest heart. Loved to take in stray animals, all kinds of animals, cats, dogs. We always had 2 or 3 of each one, and turtles. She liked turtles.
And the fun-loving 18-year-old cherished her family bonds, especially with her mother, Melinda.
We were always together, and that's what they would tell. My family would kid with me and be like, cut the umbilical cord already. That's how close we were.
Before Zoe went missing that Sunday evening, she spent the entire day with her older sister, Savannah. She never realized it might be their last.
That night, we went out to eat. We went out to have dinner. We went and stopped at the Red Box, got a movie, and then we went home. It was like 11:30, and I told her, I'm gonna go upstairs and go to sleep. I'm tired. And I thought she was just gonna go to sleep too. And next morning I woke up for work and she wasn't home yet, and I thought, okay, maybe she's, with my mom, so I called my mom, and no, and I was calling her phone all morning, but by then it was already going to voicemail.
What happened to Zoe after 11:30 p.m. has family and law enforcement completely baffled.
The only thing I could think that would get her out of the house is one of her friends saying, hey, come meet me here, or let's go over here.
Now, investigators are looking for leads inside a mere 2-hour window of time, and pieces of the puzzling midnight events are missing, along with Zoe. Cops are certain the teen left the house after Savannah went off to bed. They also know Zoe had been in contact with her mother shortly after 2 a.m.
She texted me and asked if she was gonna pick me up. And I said yes. And that was the last time she texted. And then I would try to call her phone, and it rang and rang and rang one time, and then the second time I hung up and I called it back, and it just went straight to voicemail.
Sometime between 2 and 2:30 a.m., Zoe Campos simply disappeared.
2:39 is the last phone call I made to the phone.
As the hours passed, with no more contact, motherly concern grew from fear to utter despair.
We were calling the hospital to make sure, nothing happened, and we never got anything.
The next day, after exhausting all efforts to locate Zoe, reality closed in on the Campos family.
I was like, okay, no, something's wrong. Something is really wrong. This is not my sister. She would have already called.
As time went by and the search continued, the Campos family still clung to hope that Zoe would be found alive.
Someone knows something. Someone has seen her. Someone knows where she is.
But if they didn't find her soon, cops feared the worst.
There's a lot of felonies out there that can be committed in a missing person case that ultimately end up with somebody being murdered.
Then, 36 hours later, a bizarre sighting and an unbelievable find, giving Melinda an ounce of hope that Zoe could still be alive.
We believed at that point she was in danger.
Zoe's Aunt Monica provides a first-hand account of her chilling car chase. In hot pursuit of a mysterious madman she sees driving Zoe's car. Who is he? And does he know what happened to Zoe?
So we're coming down the street, and he tried to lose me.
Plus, the search for Zoe continues.
I think what happened to my daughter is, I think she was taken, and I believe that she's in human trafficking, being sold.
Police and family members continue their vigorous search for any clues to Zoe Campos' disappearance. Then, a chance sighting. Zoe's Aunt Monica spots Zoe's car. Finally, a break in the case.
And I spotted her car coming the opposite way. And so I immediately U-turned and I started following the car.
Behind the wheel, a mysterious hooded man. In pursuit, a determined Aunt Monica.
I never got a decent look at him, I mean, other than the hoodie and the side profile, and that was it.
Could Zoe be in the car, still alive? Or is the worst about to be revealed?
I'm thinking she might be in the trunk.
Then suddenly, he stops the car. The door flies open.
And he took off running that way.
The astounding U-turn in the investigation, with a hooded fugitive on the run, just left more unanswered questions. And Zoe's stolen Lincoln awaiting police inspection.
We had received a call from Zoe's family stating that the car had been found, and our patrol officers had responded to the scene.
As far as I know, I don't know if he's someone that harmed Zoe or that did something to her.
According to Melinda Campos, investigators were able to obtain several pieces of evidence from Zoe's car, a few clues, and perhaps a step closer to finding Zoe.
They found duct tape, some clothes. Her phone charger was actually in the back seat, and there was another men's jacket.
The indelible imagery of her baby girl Zoe being involved in an accident, kidnapped, or left for dead began to take an incredible toll on Melinda.
What does all this mean? Like, was she taken by force?
Through Zoe's cell phone records, police have now pieced together a picture of what may have happened after 11:30 p.m. the night Zoe went missing.
On the night she disappeared, she went to dinner with her sister and then took her sister back to the apartment. She left her apartment and went to hang out with a friend. After she hung out with a friend, she left that apartment and went to hang out with another individual. And this was all prior to her supposed to be picking up her mom, at which point she disappeared.
Cops have focused their investigation on one person of interest, but are not willing to share specific information with Crime Watch Daily at this time.
The last person that was with Zoe is still being looked at, and it's part of an active investigation.
The phone records showed that they had a conversation. When we asked LPD about it, or when they told us about it actually, they said that they questioned him and that he did in fact see Zoe, but that Zoe said, oh, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go to the store. They were going to go somewhere, and she never came back. And that's the last that they've heard from him.
Police traced Zoe's last known cell phone activity to within a 1-mile radius of Lowry Field, a football stadium located in the heart of Lubbock.
It was around 2 o'clock in the morning, either shortly before or after 2 o'clock, when the last text message went to Zoe's mom. We were able to get the tower location and a distance of roughly a 1-mile radius.
Within that 1-mile radius, an alleged Zoe sighting.
We got a tip saying that she was spotted at the little hotel here in Lubbock, that she was being forced into a car.
Did numerous leads indicate that Zoe may have been abducted and could be alive?
We have beliefs, we have people who claim to have seen Zoe, we have people who claim to have knowledge of her being sold into slavery, but there's no physical evidence.
Reportedly, 3 other young women have gone missing from the Lubbock area. The family believes Zoe was lured away by an organized human sex trafficking syndicate.
I think she was taken, and I believe that she's in human trafficking, being sold.
That's a very good possibility in this case. Somebody could have taken her against her will and sold her into slavery.
I'll never stop looking for her. Never. That's my baby girl.
So far, Lubbock police have been unable to make any arrests in the case, but keep a watchful eye on persons of interest.
She's not going to be missing forever. She will be found. And I will find her regardless if it's today, tomorrow, next year. I'm not going to rest until I find her.
Will there ever be a homecoming for Zoe and her family? Melinda will not let despair or the criminals win. She continues to hold out hope.
What I would say to the people that have her is look into my eyes. Look into the pain that I have. And I'm sure she has it just as well. And look into her beautiful eyes and let her come home to a family that misses her and loves her very much.